Yo, what's good everyone? Your boy Deke back again with another vid. We all heard the unfortunate news yesterday that Steven Nelson was released from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So in my opinion, I think this move had less to do about Steven Nelson and more to do about the Steelers just trying to create some cap space. Now, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. The Steelers were going to have to decide between like 4 or 5 players whether to release, restructure, or keep on the roster. And that came down to Steven Nelson, Joe Hayden, DeCastro. Maybe you could even throw Eric Ebron in the mix. And then obviously Vince Williams. With DeCastro, we don't have really anyone else on the offensive line. We're hoping that it was just injuries last year and that he could bounce back. With tight end, we don't have anyone else that's halfway decent on the roster. So ultimately, it came down to Joe Hayden versus Steven Nelson. And ultimately, they went with Joe Hayden. So I'm curious to see what they do with the cornerback position. With this move, I'm assuming that they believe in Cam Sutton, James Pierre, and Justin Lane. But I don't know if there's another move to be made in the rest of free agency or draft. But we'll get to that later. And then you have the Steven Nelson tweet. I think people are making a way too big a deal out of this. Making a public announcement is a little out of my character, but you guys made your decision. Please don't hold me hostage. Hashtag don't hold me back. Bro, we knew like 2 or 3 days ago the Steelers were going to roll with Joe Hayden over Steven Nelson, and they were going to try to trade Steven Nelson, even giving him the opportunity to try to find a trade partner that would fit him. I think this tweet basically says, hey, can you just release me so I can find a team sooner rather than later? That's about it. Isn't that what anyone else would do if you were in his position? I don't know why everyone's coming out all of a sudden saying that Steven Nelson has character issues, he's a locker room problem. What warrants throughout his 2 seasons in Pittsburgh for anyone to think that? He was always quiet, humble, confident for sure, but nowhere close to a locker room problem. So I don't know where people are coming out of the woodwork with these labels for Steven Nelson. Just because he's asking a release from a team that already has shown over the past couple days they don't want him anymore, I don't blame him. And to be honest with you, a lot of people are saying, oh, Steven Nelson wants more money, he wants out of Pittsburgh. I don't think that's the case at all. I think that he wants to stay. I think it goes back to what I said at the beginning. It's more about the Steelers just trying to create some cap space, make some tough decisions, and unfortunately, Steven Nelson was released. If any of you guys have heard the interview with me and Modes, he obviously loves it in Pittsburgh. I don't see why he would have wanted to leave. He's making good money. He's a cornerback tandem with Joe Hayden. So yeah, I just think it's more about the Steelers, and this tweet I don't think is a big issue at all. And then here's a tweet just to back me up. Just so you know, Steven Nelson was a good dude, well liked, respected by the players. Coaches and organization never said anything to be disruptive. Now that Steven Nelson is no longer on the Steelers roster, what are we looking at from a cap space standpoint with the Steelers? According to this tweet right here from Michael Beck, the Steelers now have roughly $10 million in salary cap space. And maybe they can get some more, another $10 million by restructuring to it, Boswell, and extending Joe Hayden. So that got me thinking, we got $10 million right now. Maybe we get another $10 million in the next couple days. So what I made was a top 10 free agents for the Pittsburgh Steelers organization to target in 2021 free agency top 10 list. And number 1, Leonard Fournette. And these are in no particular order, but he's the number 1 running back available. We saw what he did in the playoffs, would fit with the Steelers perfectly, and we wouldn't have to worry about a running back in the draft. Number 2, Le'Veon Bell. I believe he still has it. I believe he could still be an RB1 in the league. I don't think we'd have to worry about drafting a running back either if we brought in Le'Veon. Familiar with the Steelers offense, familiar with Big Ben. Not much mileage over the past 3 years either. The pass catching and the blocking would be a big help to the Steelers. So number 2, Le'Veon Bell. Number 3, Jesse James. Just like Le'Veon Bell, familiar with the Steelers, we need a tight end pretty bad. Shouldn't be over $1 million, and he's looking for some vengeance.
To the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh!
And number 4, Jordan Reed. This one's a little bit outside of the box. I've always been a fan of Jordan Reed. It's just unfortunate he hasn't been able to stay healthy for the most part of his NFL career. I think this could be a high upside play with little risk to it. I'm not sure how much he would complement the Steelers offense as it is right now, but I'm putting Jordan Reed on my list. At number 5, Trey Burton. By all accounts, is a really good blocking tight end. In 2018, he was ranked number 1 blocking tight end by PFF. And by Colts analysts, it's not like he lost a step last year. So he'd be a nice addition to the Steelers offense, and he has shown some flashes of athleticism. At number 6, Al Villanueva. Steelers need a left tackle bad still. He's not in his prime, I know, but the left tackle market is pretty dismal. Could make sense for both sides. At number 7, we have some risk here depending on the contract number, but Quan Alexander, Pro Bowler, definitely has some upside. Just imagine pairing him with Devin Bush. As long as he's healthy, this move could pay dividends. Number 8, LJ Fort. This is kind of the opposite of the Quan Alexander move. This would be a move just for depth purposes. There's limited upside, but could just be what the Steelers need right now. And then at 9 and 10, so obviously we did lose Steven Nelson, so there is a bit of a void at cornerback. However, if the Steelers listen to me on these two answers and say, hey, Deke, you're onto something. You're pretty damn smart. I can guarantee the cornerback position for the Pittsburgh Steelers will be its greatest strength on defense for the next 5 years. Artie Burns and Ross Cockrell. Hope everyone enjoyed the vid. Stay chillin' and peace.